Okay. Hello, it's Kim Cathalis, technology teacher at schools 8 and school 10. I am currently right now at school 10 with a brand new Promethean Active Panel 9. So if you are getting an Active Panel 9, here is what you need to do. All right, so first off, power button. You kind of need that. So you turn it on. Okay. Now, this board is meant to be all-encompassing, right? Can you connect your laptop? Absolutely. But it's meant so that you don't have to, right? So that you could still use your device and not need to be tethered to the board, okay? It's also meant to be able to use different things at the same time. So I'm gonna go through all that, okay? So we have to set it up as soon as it comes out of the board, okay? So we're gonna set up our active panel. We're gonna choose our language, which is English. Your time zone, this is important because you don't want it to be on Los Angeles time. You want it to be on New York time. Now, it's gonna ask for choose a network, okay? So when you're choosing the network, you're gonna choose the iOS network, okay? Maybe you could do staff, let's see if it takes staff. Sometimes it takes staff, sometimes it takes iOS. We shall see. Choose a network every time. No, once you choose a network, it will always connect to that one. Yeah, you don't have to choose it every time. Okay, there we go. All right, so when it comes out of the box, it's never ready, right? It always needs an update, right? Because God knows how long this has been sitting, months. So when they sent it, it was updated, but in travel, whatever. So you want to update the board, okay? So this is going to take a little while. This is going to take maybe about 10 minutes. In the meantime, what I would tell you to do as teachers is grab your iPad, and on your iPad in self-service, there is a Promethean app. I believe it's called My Promethean. It starts with the M, and it's like a pink flame, okay? So you want to download that onto your iPad, because if you have an iPad, you can sign into the board from your iPad, which is really easy, okay? So go to self-service. All right, while this is updating, you're going to open up the My Promethean app, and then you're going to choose sign in. Okay, you will have an option to sign in with Microsoft. So you would choose sign in with Microsoft, and you would put in your Linden PS email and password just like you would for anything else. Display name is where it's going to come up. That means what is your board going to say? So you have to sign in to the Active Panel 9s. So when you sign in on the bottom really small, it will say your display name. So do you want yours to say like Mrs. Ravkin?
Sure.
Okay, so then we would just put Mrs. Yeah, that's great. Ravkin. And then it's going to ask for your job. You're a teacher. And then your country. Last time I checked, United States. So you're going to scroll all the way down. United States. Language, English, US English. You're going to check that one. That's by creating just the agreement. And then you're going to hit complete account. Okay, then you're going to open it. Okay, and when you get this, this means that you are signed in. If you go to Active Panel 9, it will show here like where everything is. You also have your account. So these boards work a little bit different. So with these, you can actually, once you're in the app, you can choose any picture you want and have that show up on your board. So right now it's purple. Okay. So if you wanted like snowflakes and elves dancing and whatever you wanted, you would get that image and put it here where like the image is on your iPad. Like you would save it on your iPad, right? And then you would hit choose image, right? And then you access it to all your photos, and then you can literally choose any of your photos to pop up on the back of your board, okay? So this way it wouldn't just be purple, okay? So this is how you change your background on the Active Panel 9. On the older Prometheans, you could do it right on the board. But this one you can't. You have to do it in the app, so you can change the background and then it'll pop up right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use that app to sign in as soon as the board is updated. It looks like it's almost ready. Did you go through all that?
Mm-hmm.
Kathy? Okay.
I'm at the screen share now.
Okay, perfect. It just makes it easier because you have to sign into the board every single day. Okay, just like your laptop, right? You open your laptop, you have to sign into your laptop every single day. You have to sign into this board every single day. And some people are like, oh, I'm signing into my laptop, I'm signing into all this. If you have an iPad, you open up my Promethean app. When you go to sign in, there'll be a QR code. You hold your iPad over the QR code, it signs you in.
Cool.
So you won't have to type it in every single day. Okay.
Power on.
If you're using the board and she's not here, so if you work in a classroom where there's another person, you don't have to sign in. There's a way that says guest. You can choose guest, and you can still get into the board.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So when it pops up, you'll see it. I'll show it to you. Okay. So once your board is updated, it's gonna have to restart, just like all the other things, right? So now it's gonna restart, and now you'll see the sign-in prompt. Okay, so this is what you'll do every day. You'll come in to your classroom, you'll hit the power button, and it will go through this. And then now that you have the app and you're all set up on the app, I'm going to show you how easy it is going to be for you to sign in. Okay. So now that it's been updated, what it's doing is it's just making sure that that update is kind of successful on the firmware. So it just takes a couple seconds. You won't see this every time because this is just doing this today for this time because it's updated. This is just like straight out coming out of the board. That's what I'm saying. When it first comes out of the board, there's a lot of like pre-stuff. Like it doesn't come out of the board and you could just pop it out of the box and you pop it in and play it. Like there has to be this whole kind of like procedure of getting it ready. Okay, so this you'll get only one time, basically don't do anything bad, Okay, so it's gonna show the time, and this is what it's gonna look like every single day. So you're gonna turn it on, and it's gonna say, hello, welcome to Promethean, and you have to sign in. Now see, Sherry, it says continue as guest, so if the teacher's not here, you could do it, sign in with her, okay? Okay, so you're gonna click sign in on the board. Now you could choose sign in with Microsoft and type in your email and type in your password, but you're not gonna do that. Take your iPad, go to my Promethean app, okay? So see on the bottom, let me just show them here. On the bottom where it says devices, it says scan QR code, okay? So you're just gonna touch scan QR code, touch that, and then you're just gonna allow the camera and just stand back a little bit. There you go. Give it a minute. It's loading your profile. And there you are. Hello, Ms. Ravkin.
Hi.
Okay, so you could press sign in with Microsoft, put in your email, put in your password, but we have iPads, so for me that's easier. Just grab it, scan the QR code, and you're in. Now, the next thing it's going to ask you is, do you want to connect any of your drives? OneDrive, Google Drive, okay? You have both. Some teachers have a lot of lessons on their OneDrive or on their Google Drive. You can connect that to the board. This way you don't have to get your computer involved, okay? So if you want to do that, you would continue. You can always do it later on. Okay, I'll show you where that is. So I'm just going to hit right now, skip this step. okay?
Do we need to leave this open now the whole day or no?
No.
If I were to shut it.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Once you're in, you're in. Because see, when I hit the flame, down here it'll tell you who's in, Miss Ravkin. It also tells you your Wi-Fi, okay, right here.
Oh, cool.
Okay? So now, when you get a brand new board, what happens is, this is like an IT thing, you have to go to panel management, okay? So right now it says scan in with Promethean to enroll the active panel. This has to be done by IT, okay? Or someone who has permission, like myself. So I'm gonna enroll your board. Now, when it means enroll your board, these boards can also be controlled from the IT department. So by enrolling your board, Jonathan Koziel is now gonna know that your board is in your room. And if you have any problems, he's gonna know exactly what to send to your board.
Okay, cool.
Okay? So I'm just gonna enroll your board. Okay, I'm gonna give it a name. So this is School 10. What room is this? Room
115.
115? 115. Okay, enroll. Okay, so now up here it says School 10 115 is now enrolled.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so now IT knows that this board is in your room. Okay, so that's all the IT stuff, right? We need to update it, we need to enroll it, we need to sign you in. Now you're all signed in. Now let's talk about how to use it. Okay, so this is where the fun stuff happens. So let's go over just a couple of the buttons in the front. Obviously, power button, right? Volume up, volume down, okay? The flame is where you're gonna get all of your apps and anything that you need, okay? It will put your most recently ones here, but then the rest are all gonna be here in applications, okay? You'll have stuff here. So I'm gonna go over all of this. Chromium, whiteboard, annotate, screen capture, you'll probably use that. Spinner, timer, activities, I'll probably show you it at a later date. You have to get a Promethean cloud account, and then there's other activities there, almost like Nearpod and all those other ones. They have activities that you can take from another teacher and use, okay? Panel management's already done for you. Update, I already did. Promethean account is linked to you. This is where, if you want to do your drives later on, so remember we showed you if you want to connect Google Drive or OneDrive, you would just click Drives and you would sign in and then it would remember you. Okay, so that's on there. And then on the next page you have like camera, things like that. Now, what you're going to notice in the next couple days, now that I've just enrolled this, Jonathan now knows that your device is here. Okay, what he's gonna do is within the next couple days, all of a sudden, you're gonna be on this page and you're gonna scroll, and all of a sudden it's gonna have Google Play Store, Seesaw. Like he's gonna start putting apps on your panel for you. Okay, the Active Panel 6, the old board that I have in the library, I had the Google Play Store, so I could put whatever I want on it. These new boards, they're all managed by the IT department, so you don't really have anything. But once Jonathan knows you have it, he'll start sending stuff to you. And you can call him and you can say like, listen, I need this, or this isn't working, or whatever. And like I said, under here, when you go to the apps and you open that up, when you go to this next page, he'll put Google Play, Seesaw, I forget what else he puts on there, right? Maybe Microsoft Word. He'll put a bunch of stuff here for you, okay? Okay, so let's go over the basics, okay? So if you want to use your board as a whiteboard, right? Let's do classic, okay? So we're gonna go whiteboard. Okay, so it opens up, it's a standard classic whiteboard. Okay, let's just go over all the features because it's really cool, it has a lot of things. So this first one, the 3 dots, this is where you can open things that you already have if you save them. I'm gonna show you how to save them, and this is where you can also save, okay? The disk, obviously, is things that you've already saved, which you have nothing, right? Because you haven't saved anything yet, right? So that's okay, right? Then you have these 2 heads. You have a head, a slash, and a head. This is if you want 2 kids to work on the board at the same time, okay? So you can have this kid writing red and this kid writing blue. They're independent of each other, okay? And every Promethean board is 5 finger touch, so it doesn't matter which finger they use, Okay, so if they have like an impairment or whatever, or they like one finger over the other, doesn't matter. Okay, so they can work, you know, at their own pace. The eraser, the regular eraser will just erase, and then the erase with the box means erase everything. Okay, so then these would be done, and then if you want to go back to the main board, you just hit the two heads, and it'll bring you back to the main board. Okay. The next one is like a square with like a hashtag inside of it. These are papers. Okay, so you don't have to have just white, right? So if you needed lined paper, you could do lined paper. You can also choose the color of the lined paper, right? So if you want a black paper, a red paper, okay? You have like blocks for math, right? So these are already here. There's like all different kinds of lines if you're doing writing, whatever, okay? So you can choose whatever you want here. When you're on the blank page, same thing here. You can change any of the colors. So a lot of people like the black one. And then they use like the yellow to write. It just stands out really well. Some kids find that the white is very white, very stark, you know, if they're standing in, it's two. So like this, you can use, you know, you can change the color of that paper. And you can only use these colors, okay? So there's not like 1,000 colors, but, you know, there's enough. So you can just choose the square and then choose white, and then you do that, okay? The next one is images. So these are preloaded images all for you. Hundreds charts, Venn diagrams, clock faces, geoboards, all kinds of really cool stuff. If you want the hundreds board, it'll just pop in, right? So you can use this and you can circle numbers, right? The next one is the highlighter, so you can highlight numbers, right? What's really cool is that when you're on the selector tool, which is the arrow, you can actually move this and you can actually shrink it, move it away, and then do what you need to do, and then, oh, well, let's check the hundreds chart. You can pull it back up. Okay. You can move it wherever you want. When you use the eraser will only erase drawings, okay? So you would get rid of that, and then you would hit the selector tool, touch this, and then it would get rid of that, okay? What a lot of people also don't know, they forget about this all the time, is that this is a infinite whiteboard, meaning it will never run out of space. Okay, so I remember when I used to have something like this, right? And you would write, and you would write, and you would write, and you would write, and then all of a sudden you get to the bottom and you're like, hurry up, write it in because I need more space, right? So what you could do is you hit the selector tool and you can actually slide this up, and then you get more space, okay? And when you slide it up, you'll see in the corner there's like a magnified view, so you can actually see like where you are. The other thing is too, is when you write things, you can actually manipulate them. So you can make your writings bigger, smaller, push it to the side. So your writing doesn't necessarily have to always just be erased. You can play around with it. In the lower grades, like I was showing them, like they could write the word cat, right? And then they can use the selector tool and they can actually like move the word to like the at family, or like the it family, whatever. So anything that you write, you can also manipulate, okay? You can drag it, move it, whatever. And like I said, you have that infinite space, so you can push it up and then push it back down, and then you know exactly where you are, okay? You have here a ruler, protractor, so you can use the ruler to draw lines. If you spin it, if you spin it, come on, you can make it bigger, smaller, okay? You can turn it so that you have the inches on the top, okay? So you have those tools here too. Again, to get rid of it, you touch it. So that's pretty much the whiteboard. If you have the whiteboard and you have something that you wrote and you want to save it, because maybe you're going to use it again, or maybe you're going to extend on that lesson, so you can hit that little disc over here, and it will automatically save it, or you can do save as, and then you can give it a name, and then down here you just hit save, okay? And then it'll save for you, okay? So that's the whiteboard, all right? So now what if you need the internet? So you go to the Flame. Sorry, I did that really fast. I'm so like used to doing things. You go to Chromium on the Flame, okay, and that's your internet, okay. It automatically opens up to my Promethean because it's a Promethean board and they love themselves. So it will automatically open up to Promethean, okay. The down here, it's small, so you know you can move it. I just got rid of it. I didn't mean to do that. This is to make it larger, full screen. Okay. What's also really cool is this has the ability to have the internet on one side and the whiteboard on the other, which I would have loved if when I had this, because a lot of times like you are doing something on math, but then you need more space, and then you don't have enough space. So what you could do is when you open up the internet, you see down here you have like a rectangle on this side and a rectangle on that side. It's multitasking. So you can say, all right, I want to take this internet and push it to that side. And then I want to take the whiteboard and push it to this side. So now I have the internet here, which is completely different. And then I have my whiteboard over here. Okay. So you can use both at the same time. Okay. When you want to write on the internet, you can't use the whiteboard. The whiteboard is like a separate piece, right? So if you want to write on the internet, you hit the Flame and you hit annotate, and you will get your own little separate writing thing over here, okay? And then you can take this pen and you can write on your internet, okay? So you can write on the math page or the reading page or whatever it may be, okay? This tool thing is kind of, you know, it's floating, so you can put it wherever you want, okay? So that will make, you can have it multitasking. If you don't want the whiteboard anymore, just hit the X, and then if you want this big, just hit that, and now you've got this. And then if you just need to write on the internet, you just press annotate, and then you can write right onto your internet.
And you type the address like wherever you want to go right in the top, or do we
Yep.
need to do it from here?
Yep, you do it right from here. So let's get rid of the annotate. So this is your keyboard. Again, it's also floating. So like if you're a little bit taller and you need it up here so you don't have to be doing that. I walk into classes and I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, well, it's down way down here. I'm like, move it. So you can put different things. I would suggest, it would be helpful if I spelled it right? You can put websites on your board as a saving, right? So you can say like, okay, so I'm gonna go to like the staff portal page. So you would have to sign in, okay? So, you know, using your regular email address or whatever. So let me just go back because I don't want to put your email address on the video. So let's say you finally get it and like you want this page, okay? So up here there's 3 dots, and you hit add to the home screen. We always look for bookmarks, but it's not a bookmark because it's like a tablet kind of. So you say add to the home screen, okay? And it'll give it a name. You can always change that name, whatever you want it to be, and you hit add. Now, when you go down here and you're on these apps, you can open that, but you can also go right here.
Oh, cool.
So you can put the things that you're going to need over and over on this
So when he
page.
puts Seesaw there, we'll just click it and it'll go right to
Correct.
the board and we can model it up.
Yes. So when he puts Seesaw on here, what he's doing is he's adding it to your homepage.
Okay.
So that you would click Seesaw and go. You would click Google Play Store and go. Okay? And once you get the Google Play Store, you can put like things on it too that you need, you know, interactive backgrounds or whatever, you know. But when you add it to the home screen, that's where you're putting it. You're putting it like on here. Okay? So I would suggest doing that for the things that you go to often, so that you don't have to keep every single time going up there and signing in, and you know it takes a while. So that's the internet. Let me show you. So there is a spinner and a timer. So the timers, obviously are helpful, right? So a timer will come up. It's programmed to 30 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes, an hour, but you can also customize it just by, using the dials, right? So it will turn red, and then the kids will see like exactly just how much time they have left, okay? It will, just put another one here, 30 seconds. So it'll do something like that. Okay, and that's your timer, okay? If you want your whole class to see it, and you're going to do a timer, you can just hit the arrow and it will take the whole screen. So it'll turn everything off and just have the timer, which is really, really big. Or if you have multiple groups, you can use up to 4 timers. So you would just say add, and you would get another timer.
Ah.
Okay, so you can have a timer for this group and a timer for that group, and you can have up to 4 timers. Okay, and they'll work like independently, of each other. So you could just say, when the timer went, whatever. Okay, so that's a timer, and then the spinner is like like a spinning wheel, like probability or things like that. It comes preloaded with. Always do that. There we go. It comes preloaded with colors, but there are other ones too. Let me just make it smaller. You can have colors, names. You can put all your kids' names in. Choose the student of the day. Numbers 1 to 10, vowels, consonants, alphabet. I have used numbers 1 to 10, had multiple spinners, and it was like 3 and then 4, 3 times 4. Figure it out. Okay. You can have the same thing. You can have up to 4 spinners at the same time. You can put words on it. So I've done it with vocabulary words. You can spin the vocabulary words. I've done it with, we do with that rating, like who did it, when, where did they do it, and why. So you can put those 3 things and then spin them, and then they have to write a story about those 3 things. So I've done all that kind of stuff. And you can create your own spinner just by hitting create new. And then you just give it a title, and then you just put all the names in, and you create your own spinner. Okay. When you do the spinner under the gear, you can choose whether you want to hear that the sound of the spinner, whether you want that on or off, and then you would also choose whether you want the item to only be once, right? Like if you're doing like a numbers one, maybe not, right? Maybe you don't care if you're doing multiplication, but if you're picking names, then yes, you want it to spin only once. So that you can change here, okay? And the same thing, just adding multiple spinners. The only thing with the spinner is, unlike the timer, so the timer, they can all go at the same time. The spinner, you can only spin 1 at a time, okay? So you just literally just like flick it, and you'll see these turn gray because they can't be used at the time. So now you have purple is the winner, and now these will turn bright. So you can pick it in one, and then you can spin it, and whatever, okay? And the same thing, the spinner can go really big if you're just doing 1 spinner versus, multiple. Let's see, annotate we did. Screen capture, you can take a screenshot of something, right? So if you need to be on Chromium and you want to take a screenshot, if you take a screenshot, it will automatically open in your whiteboard. Okay, so you can then take it, put it in your whiteboard, and then do whatever you'd like to with it. Screen share, that could be something I could show you later on. So screen share is any student can download that My Promethean app, and they can share their iPad to your board. So if you want to see what's on their device, you can have them share it to the board. You can have 1 child share, or you can have 4, and we'll make like a quadrant. 4 is the max. So you can literally have 4 kids' iPads showing up here and showing what they're doing. Okay, so they would have to download the My Promethean app, and then once they do that, you'll see on the front, when you touch screen share, it'll give you a code like this. So your kids would open up the app, they would put in this code, and then you would get all the kids' names like in a lobby. Almost like WebEx, right? They'd all be in a lobby, right? And then you can choose who can share it to the board, right? So if you check Tara, then Tara can share it to the board. Then when I uncheck Tara, she can't share it to the board anymore. Then Sherry's turn, right? So you can control that on that. It would show up for you, okay? So that's kind of something later on. If you wanted to do that, I could do that with you, show you how to do that. And then same thing with activities. You get a Promethean account, and then there are all different activities there, like I said, similar to like a Nearpod. And then you can download activities to your account, and then once you download activities to your account, they will show up here. You don't have any, right? So that's why. So when you do, you will be able to use them. They're very similar to Nearpod, right? If you've ever used that, okay? And then if you want to connect your device instead of use it, just remember that if you're using the HDMI wire, you can't multitask, because multitask is always only on the board. So in other words, you can't connect your laptop and split it and have the whiteboard on the other side. You can't. Once you are connected to your laptop is now on the board, right? You can annotate. You can you can hit annotate and you could draw on your laptop, but you don't have the screen, the multitasking. Okay, so to connect any of your devices, you have one HDMI port here, and you have 3 back here. Yep, you have 3 back here. So it doesn't matter which one. Some teachers don't like it in the front because they don't like the cord dangling, or they feel like the kids are going to touch it or whatever. So you can use any of the HDMI ports in the back. It really doesn't matter. And you can do it that way. One thing that if you are connecting your device, because this was like one of my favorite things. So if you are connecting your device to the board, and you know there are times when you're connected to the device and then like you gotta log in and you don't want the kids to see like what you're doing. So there's a button here. It's a snowflake. It's called freeze. Okay, so basically it will freeze the board and it won't show what you're doing on your laptop. So you could go in your laptop and sign in, and you hit freeze, and the kids will only see what you've frozen, right? And then you can unfreeze it, and then magically there's your lesson, right? So I like that button because I hated when kids saw all the things that I had on my laptop. So you could freeze it. The other thing in the front here is it's like a little finger button. That's just the touch button. A lot of my special ed classes need that button. It's so that the kids can't come up and touch the board, because if the kids come up and they touch, things happen. So that just turns the touch off. That's all that is. I don't know if you'd really need that. The only time I would use it is if I was pointing to things, because sometimes when you point to things, you touch the board and then it does something. So if you are going to connect your device, do you have your dongle thingy? Your white piece, that white piece? There we go. So if you are going to connect, you're going to need your device here, and then this is not the right one. Anybody have their laptop? You have your laptop? Okay, perfect. Okay, so then you just put this in here. Okay, and then you're going to hit this button that has like a square with like an arrow, and now it's telling you which devices. So home is the computer, is this. HDMI 2 is where I plugged in your device. Okay, if you put it in the front, it would be HDMI 1. In the back here is 2 and 3, right? So then you just press HDMI 2. Now you're bypassing the board. Now you're only using the laptop. So now your laptop will show up. So there it is, right? And now again, you can use the flame and you can use annotate. You can move this here, and then you can circle whatever you need to do. Okay, so you can still annotate over your laptop. You just can't multitask. Okay.
That's interesting because they're showing the background, but not like anything that's saved on the side.
Okay, so
Which is cool.
this is no, that's just because your laptop isn't connected to the board.
Huh.
So this is the biggest problem all the time. Miss Cavallis, I'm connecting my laptop and it's not showing up. Okay, so here's what happens. When you do this for the first time, only the first time, your laptop does not know where it is. It's like driving somewhere for the first time, you don't know where you are, right? So it's not connecting correctly. So what you have to do on your laptop is you have to go to the settings, okay, system preferences, and you go to displays. That's where the screen is, okay? And you're gonna see, it's gonna say arrangement. In other words, how you want this arranged. Arrangement. And then you're gonna hit mirror displays. And now your laptop looks exactly like that, okay? Now, you can see it's really small, right?
Yeah.
Super duper small. So what you have to do here is, I tend to use this as my helper here. So I close this, okay? I'm gonna go back to System Preferences, Displays, okay? And then over here, it says best for the Active Panel 9, right? That means what your computer thinks is best for this board. Well, my old eyes don't think that this is best for me. So I'm gonna go down here to where it says scaled, okay? And I'm gonna choose a bigger scale, and now I can see this and that.
That looks much better.
Much better, okay? So that's kind of what you have to do the first time. You will not have to do this again, okay? Once it knows now your computer's like, oh, okay, that's what you want me to do? That's where you want it? Okay, fine. Now every time you connect to this board, I will do that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it's like the first time. The second thing you want to check for the first time is sound. Okay, because sound, again, is still coming from your MacBook. You want to make sure it's coming from there. So you're going to hit System Preferences. Now you're going to hit Sound. Okay, now see how right now, if you were to play something right now, you would be calling me and say, Kim, my sound is coming out of my computer and it's not coming out of my board. Okay, it's because it doesn't know. So you have to check this HDMI AP9, that's your Active Panel 9. Okay, you're going to do that. And now when you play a video from here, it's going to show up on there. The
Okay.
sound is going to come from
When
there.
I unplug it, do I need to reset it, or it'll default
Nope.
back to my MacBook?
It will, now it knows.
Okay.
Now it knows. So when you pull this out, there won't be a choice for Active Panel 9 because it won't be connected anymore.
All right, cool.
Okay?
I'm with you.
So like when I disconnect this and I'm no longer connected, right?
Bye-bye.
And I go to sound, there's no choice.
Okay.
It only says built in because there's no Active Panel 9 connected. But now when I plug it in, right? Give it a second. See how it automatically defaulted to HDMI?
Okay.
So
yeah.
now it knows. Now it knows that, okay, when I'm connected to this, that's what I do, right? And you'll see that the display was perfectly fine too, because you've already said it once. Now that's it, okay? That's probably the biggest problem that I get when people connect their laptops for the first time to the new board. They have to change this display to arrange, mirror image, and scale it, and they have to change the sound. Once you do that, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's pretty much the board. Okay, when you are finished, so at the end of the day, right, you're gonna leave, right, and it will automatically go to sleep for you, which is great. But you can also turn it off, right? So when you turn it off, it'll turn off. Now when you turn it back on again, you're gonna have to sign in, right? So choose sign in, scan QR code, scan it, you're in.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Okay.
and that's it. Good luck.